Okay, because Download Politics wanted it, I'm going to make an episode 2 of Apocalypse WoW about the zombie case scenario. Now, I originally was going to make this video like 5 minutes long because I just went into about how ridiculous it is, but I'll go into further detail and actually give it some depth. I would rate the apocalyptic scenario case of zombies at about level 1 to 0. And leaning downward. The reason why this is because, let's say, for example, you were eating your breakfast and you see some zombies outside of your window trying to get in. They're crazed and they're cannibals. More than likely, you would not open the door or anything. You would just wait for them to tire out, go away, something else. And the rare event that you're stupid and go out there to defend yourself, you might become infected or just get eaten alive or whatever. But in general, it is not a practical way to infect people. A virus that causes people to turn into psychotic lunatics and kills the people that are infected and has them kill the other people that they would infect just does not seem like a practical outbreak. That's not how viruses function. Viruses function in that they're the ones that kill people, not motivating the people that are infected to kill people. And on that note, if it was a virus, there are lots of factors to consider whether or not this virus would be even able to spread outward. How does it spread? At what rate is it spreading? Is it able to deal with harsh environments, either hot or cold? And things like that. Those sorts of factors play a huge role in even whether or not this virus would ever break out to the point of being dangerous, let alone if our government and military could not control it right away. That's really the thing here. You would have to assume that our government just doesn't want to stop the zombie outbreak, because it would be so easy for them to just quarantine that area and just shut it out completely, and then you don't have to worry about the zombie virus. Now, mind you, if there are ways of it to get around that and then it spreads to other states, other countries, things like that, yes, it could pose a problem. But again, like SARS or something, it's not like it's not easily controllable. So, and SARS was a lot more dangerous than your typical zombie scenario. That's the thing about fictional apocalyptic scenarios. In real life physics, they're usually just not all that dangerous. And zombies is the prime example. That's probably why people like zombie apocalypses. Because the very fact in the back of their mind, they know they're just not all that dangerous. And considering all the other things out there, a zombie apocalypse is like a walk in the park. A cockroach crawling all over your face is far more lethal than a zombie apocalypse. Because all the bacteria and germs and diseases a roach carries is far more unhealthy for you than the potential of getting bitten by a zombie. And you can't control the population of roaches. You can control the population of would-be zombies. So that right there tells you the threat level of a zombie apocalypse. But for the sake of any doubt that this would never transcend a level 1 catalysm, which I'm giving it a huge leeway here by saying that it's a level 1 where, it breaks out into a bad hurricane scenario that takes over a region, maybe a big city, maybe even a state, because, let's face it, people are fucking stupid. Half of the population would be freaking out because of the zombie apocalypse, not listening to the news or anything, not staying in their homes, not avoiding the sick, things like that. And the other half of the population would think that this is the end times and that, they've watched enough zombie movies to know how shit works, and they'd be looting and they'd be thinking that they're so badass. And yeah, mostly 99% of what would hurt the human race is their own retardation, not the virus in and of itself. If anything, the virus is an upgrade to how people normally think. So that would be what kills most of the people, but even then, it would not be detrimental enough to raise it above a level 1 catalysm. But let's say, by some magical I don't even know the word, just some magical scenario, just giving the virus the ultimate benefit of the doubt, that it's a super virus. It can survive any harsh environment. It's populating at an enormous rate. It's just everywhere and just spreading really, really fast, and our government is just totally stupid and derping like a retard and just letting it go by. The military's doing nothing. Let's give all of that the benefit of the doubt. Even so, it's still no worse than a level 2 scenario, because does it still infect only humans? That's a big part of this. In a lot of zombie movies, you never see the zombie virus affect anything but humans. And that's because viruses cannot suddenly evolve to affect everything else. The entire genetic makeup of the virus would have to change. So let's assume that it's like Resident Evil, where yes, there can be zombie dogs, there can be zombie alligators, maybe even zombie mosquitoes. That would be the key factor here. If insects could be infected by the zombie virus, oh, then you have a problem, because insects are already a problem, let alone with something like the zombie virus. Then, yes, then you raise it to about a level 3 scenario. If mosquitoes, for example, got the zombie virus, we are all fucked. I give it like a week before every single living thing on the planet is a zombie. But even then, it is not the zombie apocalypse in and of itself that will kill you. It's not the zombie virus you have to worry about, but mankind's own incompetence, mankind's own reckless nature and disregard for nature. Because it would not be the zombie apocalypse that destroys our species and all the species on this planet, but the nuclear factories that we are no longer able to maintain. That's my worry of such a weird scenario where everyone just suddenly becomes a zombie. It's not even the zombie apocalypse that worries me. It would certainly change how we view the natural environment, but more or less we'd still be animals. We'd just be very psychotic, very short-sighted animals, and maybe die in a couple of weeks. But nature could still continue onward. Let's say even every single animal on the planet becomes infected with this zombie virus. Well, eventually, everything dies, and yes, for a few million years, it sucks. It's just the most primitive forms of life forms. But eventually, new life will emerge. But it would take a few more million years if given the scenario of our nuclear meltdowns. Because with no one to maintain these nuclear factories, they're all going to melt down simultaneously, radiating the entire planet. Now the water is unfit to drink. It goes into a second ice age. Everything, all on a cellular level, everything is annihilated, and it makes it even harder for even viruses to evolve. And thus, that's a more apocalyptic scenario than just everyone goes batshit and turns into a zombie. So, more so, it's the byproduct of what would happen in a zombie apocalypse that dooms mankind, rather than the zombie virus in and of itself. But like I said, that is way too much in favor of the zombie virus. That viruses just are not all that dangerous. We're at a point in life where we're smart enough to handle them. We've got vaccines, we've got bunkers, we've got cleaning tools, we got everything we need to subside any sort of threat that is germ-based. And people just want to presume that our government would stand idly by, or it would go under their nose. That's not going to happen. So even in the most paranoid situation, it would never rise above a level 1 cataclysm, if that, because I'm sure after the few first cases of zombie apocalypse, zombie scenarios, zombie crimes, the government would pick right up on that. Which some people think that is going on right now with these bath salt cases. That this is actually a zombie outbreak, and that the government's just pretending like it's drugs. Which might be true, but then again, why would they need to lie? Fact is, it would be great for them to insist that it is a zombie apocalypse, and that you should, stay in your homes, love your family, consume a bunch of goods and services, and go buy instant foods and stuff, non-perishable foods that will last forever, and things like that. That would help the economy. It would shut people the fuck up. They would start joining the military, which they need if they want to keep bombing these brown people countries, and things like that. It would be in their best interest to say shit like, yeah, the zombie outbreak happened, you know, we need your help, America. But no, that's not how the real world works. So, yeah, if you ever do happen to see zombies at your window trying to get in, the smartest thing you could do is close your mini blinds, pretend you're not home, and just call 911 and tell them to bring some guys in suits so they don't get infected with, like, one of those stick wand things they use to capture wild gators. And they'll get them by the throat, take them to the nearest military station and do experiments on them to figure out just what the fuck happened. But in general, you will be in no immediate danger. And even if you happen to be stupid enough to get yourself infected or attacked, only you are going to suffer for that. Only you as an individual are screwed. The entirety of the human race will be just fine. So I hope that helped educate you on the danger levels of a zombie threat, and how, in hindsight of everything else, a zombie threat just isn't going to cut it. And someone like me who hopes for doomsday, that's just, it's a big disappointment. It's fantastic, undoubtedly. The Hollywood has made it into this extravagant scenario where, everyone's like road warriors, and there's tons of shooting and passion and, blood and gore, but no, it's nothing like that. Katrina would be more dangerous to the human race than the zombie outbreak. Because guess what? Katrina happened in a very populated area where it was a very economic-based city. It was in New Orleans, which is great for tourism. That was more detrimental than the zombie apocalypse could ever be. So, and guess what? America is still fine, even without New Orleans, even without all those thousands of people that it killed. So, what does that tell you about the zombie apocalypse scenario? So, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If there is any apocalyptic scenario you would like me to talk about, leave a comment in the comment section, or make a video reply, or, like or dislike this video if you found it interesting or think I could have done a better job. See you later.